Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Taco Bout God, social distancing episode. My name is Brian and I'm here with...
Me, Adam.
And I'm Ryan Dangle.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. Dave could not be here because work has been a little crazy with, I'd say, the stock markets the last month or so. So we're going to give him a chance to bow out and hope that he and his family are well. But he'll probably join us again soon. So, guys, where are you? You're at your homes?
I am, yeah. I'm in my dining room, which has become my wife's office.
Yeah. I'm in my living room, which has definitely become my new classroom, which has been a very big adjustment to start teaching online.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
I'm in my basement, which is called Zoom Station now, because this is where we have all these Zoom conversations. And this has been my task to clean up the basement while I'm on these phone calls. So while I'm on a video call, I sit here, but while I'm on phone calls, I'm organizing the basement for like the first time ever.
Do you still have the creepy girl?
Yeah, I'll have her in a future video, just standing behind me while I'm preaching.
Good.
I kind of want to know, but I guess I don't want to know.
I would have to, well, yeah, it's worthwhile. Just give me 1 second. You guys talk and entertain the listeners. So don't just sit there silently. Is that cool?
Yeah, no, I think we could probably figure it out.
All right, 1 second.
So Adam, I'm curious, man, like, cause you worked in the restaurant industry, like, are you guys just terrified right now, or like, what's going on with all that? Just,
Yeah. So
kind of curious.
My last day at my last job was actually on Friday. I'd put in my notice before everything fell apart, and then it fell apart very rapidly. So right now, I'm hoping to start in my new spot soon. But yeah, we have no idea what's going to happen in the restaurants. But when I was working in the restaurant, we were one of the few that had contact points with customers. That wasn't just handing things out curbside. So it was pretty stressful because, you're working with minimum wage employees who may or may not have insurance, and kind of sucked to have to lead them in that way. So I'm glad to not be working for that company anymore.
Yeah.
So when do you start? In April for a new company?
Yeah, well, hopefully next week, but we'll see how long this ban continues. So
kind of a scary time.
To the ban, I wish I could work.
Yeah. But then again, you can focus on yourself right now and your family.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing. We take a lot of walks. That's about it. We're walking a lot.
Yeah.
I think that seems to be the case with most people now, which I think is a really good thing, every time we go outside now, we're like, wow, I don't remember seeing this many people out and about, but we're all just kind of so sick of being stuck inside that it's, any excuse to take my dogs for a walk. I mean, they're the happiest they've ever been because they go on like 3 walks a day.
But you're allowed to go on walks. It's just more being in human contact with people that are not a part of your system.
Right, but I think that's kind of what I'm getting at, though, is that people are looking for any excuse to go outside, just because they can. And that's about it. Is going for walks and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
We yesterday I went for a run, and I've never crossed the street so many times just because there were other people walking.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get in their way, so I'm moving quick. I can just walk past or run to the opposite side of the street, but. Sure, if you zoomed in on my Strava, it's probably a zigzag.
So for anybody that's watching us on YouTube, Rosemary is right behind me. She's a Halloween doll that gnaws on a brain, and that's what Adam was referring to earlier.
Yeah, it's been a little hard to take you guys serious when I saw that thing at first, and now I'm trying to.
When have you taking us serious? Well, so I got to preach this weekend for the one worship service that we have at church. And I was telling Mandy, because I was practicing, because I don't want to be in my script. I want to be able to preach, but I'm used to like looking up and looking around. And so she's like, well, we could be your audience. But I was thinking, like, what if I showed them that my audience was literally just like Rosemary and a bunch of stuffed animals? And that's who I was preaching to.
Yeah, that's got to be a big adjustment for you. What's that been like getting prepped for that? And just because I mean it's different for me. I'm looking at like slides or something that I'm sending to my kids. Where you like there's just no feedback.
Well, but there is feedback. It's just not immediate. But then I think our biggest thing is the first weekend that we had worship, we literally had hours to figure it out. I had called into the council meeting where they decided to close down worship. And so because of that, because I couldn't make it in that morning for something that I had going on at home, but then I had to immediately cancel the rest of my plans with my family to hurry into worship and record. So that first day, it was sort of like we had no time to plan. So we were just making stuff up to make sure worship was worshipful. Last week, it was a little bit more planned out, and then I think each week it will probably get better and better for like our angle, our approach. That's my hope.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's hard, not having feedback. But we get like messages. I've not heard many complaints, so that's good.
Well,
I would guess. Go ahead.
If you complain, you can just turn it off now. You don't have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I think my thing is the church should have always been doing this. So, I mean, like for me, I don't have issues making videos at home or podcasts at home. It's explaining it to other people that this is okay and it's a reasonable place for us to meet. So, and from the school point of view, I mean, Mandy's school wasn't even set up for this, and they're the third largest district in Illinois. And I understand why. Like, they have a lot of students that don't have internet in their homes. After below a certain grade, they don't have computers, and so. But it's been really interesting this week being Mandy's spring break. She's working, trying to get everything ready for the next week. But that's teachers just care. They want the kids to be connected and get something out of school, even if they can't be there.
Yeah, Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
You're the teacher.
Yeah, so I've just been trying to do lessons that not bombarding them with too much, but also like trying to get their thoughts and perspectives, and then having them try to record what they're kind of thinking and feeling, because for so many of them, this is the first historical event that they've kind of lived through,
Yeah.
and this is something that, they're going to want to know how they felt at some point, and because of technology, they can kind of document it. But my heart just is going out to all of my seniors, just thinking about all the things that they may have to give up if this continues.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking, just because, it's a second semester seniors are really, it's a fun group because they're becoming much more introspective and really kind of looking back, thinking about all the good times that they had at school. And I don't know, I'm really feeling for them big time right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you're putting in not more hours, but you're working harder than you thought you would have to from home?
This has been an adjustment. So yesterday, I mean, I think I sat down at 7 a.m. and didn't stop until like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, obviously we're just getting food and stuff like that. But then today, because I did so much yesterday, that today's been more about like checking emails periodically and, checking to see how students are doing. It's just an adjustment. And I think that's what a lot of people are finding, though, is through whatever job that they have, that, now switching to being at home, it's an adjustment for all of us. This is uncharted territory for so many people.
I have a really hard time, especially with like two younger kids. So like, and this would have been interesting to have Dave here too, with his kids being older. So like for me, it's a hard time breaking from work in order to go and care for the kids, because both Gia and Wesley are very hands-on. But like Adam, like what's it like for you explaining that to your probably oldest more than your youngest about what's going on right now? Sorry. So I went from me doing work. It's hard to break, but I have to in order to take care of the kids. But I think like Wesley and Gia aren't asking questions. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They think it's just a vacation where I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it actually helps that like I was at work last week and Angie was home with the girls because she did a lot of the teaching from home, and I think last week Angie was like beyond overwhelmed. I think
That'd be hard.
Like Ryan, you were saying, there wasn't much of a transition plan in place, so it was all learning on the fly, which I think is kind of disappointing when you go into a situation like this and you realize that like, oh, there's no plan in place for anything like this. We knew it was coming, but there's no plan. Cool.
Isn't that someone's job? Like, isn't it like just one person has to have that emergency plan? And what we do, I just feel like that job didn't exist or it got cut. I have no clue what happened there.
Well, but think of, like nothing like this has ever happened before. You know what I mean? Like this is uncharted territory in so many different ways that, I mean, it's just, how do you plan for something that is unforeseeable? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like maybe I'm being naive, but just seemingly that a pandemic of this, like, I don't think any of us saw it coming in as fast as it did, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of see where you're coming from, but I feel like at the same time, since my like adulthood, I've been hearing about the risk of pandemic. I mean, we've had the fear of, you know, bird flu and swine flu and all those other ones, and even just terrible flu seasons where they've been talking about limiting exposure to people. I feel like we know
this is something we've never had before in Brewing Questions history. A guest appearance. Who's here?
Yeah. I have no idea who's here. It might be a package delivery.
That's definitely going on the pod, dude.
Oh, it's all going on the pod. People just got to deal with it. If they want our podcast right now, this is what they have to have.
Summer, come here, dude. Come on. All right. She's gonna bark for like 5 minutes now. But yeah, I think that in some ways we knew it would happen, but I think that our and could you get her to stop?
Angie can finally be on the podcast. We can interview her.
She's putting Lizzie to a nap. She's not gonna want to be on this. I'll see if I can sneak her in there. But yeah, I feel like it's more of a like a hubris type thing that we just always assumed that like it never would happen in this way during our lifetime. Just like, I mean, kind of the same thing with climate change is we've always postponed action on it because it's not going to affect that.
I'm kind of curious about climate change and the advantages of so many people not working around the world for this set amount of time. You would hope that they could finally prove scientifically. Hey, puppy dog. Sorry, there's a dog on the screen for those who are listening. What I hope is maybe they can prove scientifically the benefits of us really reducing our carbon footprint. Hey, let's talk about stuff like this while Dave's gone.
Definitely seeing what's going on in Italy. You know what I mean? Just seeing how, as Venice in particular, just how blue that water is. You know, with no traffic and whatnot.
Yeah.
I definitely think, you know, that there's. I think a lot of people knew it that all the things we're doing are not necessarily great for the planet. I think it's just people are arguing more about how much are we doing, you know? But you're right. Maybe we'll get a chance to see it now. Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, it looks like you sneezed or coughed on your phone, like in the corner, top corner.
No, I'm not.
Really?
Angie's on the podcast. The other side. There you go.
Yeah.
Wait. Hi, Angie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. I gotta go put Lizzie down for a nap.
Wait, but we were going to interview you. You're our first guest.
No.
Bye.
Wait, do you see what I see in Ryan Dangle's corner up here, Adam? It's like a black dot.
Oh yeah, that is
Sorry about that.
actually the coronavirus.
Well, he coughed, and like I thought it tried to come get me. And I have a zombie lady behind me.
No, definitely not the camera. Don't know what that is, but yeah, there's definitely something there. Don't know. Yeah, my camera is super, super clean. No idea what it is.
What are you guys doing to survive? I saw Ryan, you were having a live concert.
Yeah, it was funny is a couple friends were just like, hey, why don't you, because everybody else has been doing it. I thought, okay, let's do it. And I was really surprised by how many people showed up, to watch. But I think, so many of us, we're just looking for something to do that's different, that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then lots of walks, and movie watching and work. And that's pretty much it. What about you guys?
So in high school, I had a band called Avenue A, and my best friend from high school and we were messaging back and forth because we both found lyrics to our songs. So I recorded it for him and sent it to him, but I thought about doing an Avenue A concert down here in my basement. And then the same as like, I used to write songs, and so I thought maybe that would be entertaining to our college friends by playing that stuff. But mine has mainly been consumed with like work or kids.
Samesies. Yeah, mine. I used to have a band called Avenue B.
Shut up. Shut up. You're jealous.
More aggressive.
So when Avenue A broke up, actually, my buddy E-Rock and Rashab, who both Adam knows from high school, we created the Avenue A second band, and we were called the Schnozberries, and we would go and sing songs in girls' dorm rooms to try to flirt with them and pick them up. We were not very successful. We only lasted a few months.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Good to know.
What? So can you sing us an Avenue A song?
I'd have to go get my guitar.
You can't do it a cappella?
Well, it's like way better with like a punk rock guitar. So if you want it, I can go and get it. If you want a live concert.
We literally have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got to keep on talking. Give me a second. All right.
All right. So let's talk about something other than Corona, just because I feel like it has dominated every time. Okay. There's a mute button. There's a little mute. Yeah, a mute button. People are gonna listen to this, and we're gonna think about the professionalism. You know what I mean? Like every conversation has been dominated by coronavirus or politics. It seems like, and how our governments are dealing with it or not dealing with it. Agree? Or am I crazy?
Oh, yeah. No, you're definitely right there. That's seems to be all we ever talk about now.
Yeah, it kind of stinks, man. So, okay, how about this? What's the two things that you're most looking forward to when the can't go anywhere ban gets lifted?
So Friday was my last day of work, right? So one of the things that I had this real craving to do was hit up a bar and just get a quick celebration pint, because it always tastes better in a public place like that. So doing that with a couple of friends would just be like kind of looking forward to that. And then honestly, like just getting together with my group of friends. We've done Skypes, but we haven't been able to be together, and you do kind of miss that, I think, more than you think you would. How about
Absolutely. You? I want to go see a movie in a movie theater. I was really looking forward to A Quiet Place 2 coming out, and didn't get a chance to see that because they postponed it. And then being able to go to like a state park or just somewhere out in public with people, or even if there's not people, right? Like just all the state parks are closed right now, so you can't. They only want you to go in local spots, and just to be outside somewhere where I'm not here.
Yeah.
I love my house, but it's time to see something else.
Yeah, you could have named A Quiet Place 2 and should have named it A Quieter Place.
Ooh, I like where your head's at. I want to see how they bring back Krasinski, just because he got killed off in the first.
Oh,
Spoiler
don't tell
alert,
me
sorry.
that I didn't watch the. I stopped watching it halfway through because Mandy wanted to go to bed, or yeah, it was like creeping her out, and so I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Sorry, I just ruined it for you.
Was it too loud for her?
Dang it. I don't know. She's like, this is creepy.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't think it was that creepy. Like I thought it was good, but I never was like, I thought it was tense, but never felt creeped out by it.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? No? Okay. Good podcasting. I can't wait till this gets published. What books are you reading now? What quarantine book?
It's a book that I haven't read yet, but everyone has kind of recommended to me. Maybe it's a little morbid because I'm a teacher, but I'm starting to read Columbine. Just really interested to kind of see. So many students talk about like it's the first like thick book that they've read from cover to cover, and so kind of interested. What about you?
I'm reading it's Eric Larson's new book. I think it's Splendid in the Vile, about Winston Churchill during the like him taking control during the war. And it's really good so far.
I'd be interested to see, just because he's this larger than life kind of character, and like in reality, like what was he like in person or something like that. Just he's such a monumental figure in history. I'd be really curious to know.
And yeah, that's where I don't know if you've ever read. Eric Larson wrote like Devil in the White City and In the Garden of the Beasts and things like that. And he does a really good job of bringing like historical events to the personal level. And like so, most of this book so far has been kind of like the quirkiness that is Winston Churchill, and like all the things that you read about him of like, yeah, he took meetings in bathtubs and he's kind of a weird dude.
It's kind of like now.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's meeting without pants on, right? I don't have pants on. Do you guys have pants on?
I do.
I do. Yeah, I am wearing pants. Yeah.
Well, it's my house. I can do whatever I want.
I've made a point of not staying in like pajamas and like wearing normal clothes throughout this, because I think that there's a healthiness of like still maintaining that normalcy a little bit.
I'm sure you're right.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys, you ready for your concert?
Yes.
I was in high school when I wrote this, so don't like expect like a genius song or anything like that. Can you hear the guitar, right? I got to tune it though.
Good, you wouldn't want to do that before the show.
Okay, you ready? So this is called I'm Leaving, I'm Gone, It's Meant to Be. It's called My Destiny by Avenue A, the greatest rock band ever from the year 2001, 2002. All right. Left the porch light on, hoping you'd come home, but you didn't. Wait, oh, come on. But you didn't come, you just left me alone. Well, you took your clothes and all your pictures too, and you left me here with memories of you. Well, you didn't say you loved me, and you didn't say goodbye. You just left me alone with all these tears in my eyes. Now I'm leaving you this message. You gotta come back to me. I'm leaving, I'm gone, it's meant to be. It's called my destiny. Well, you used to say you loved me, but now things have changed. Yeah, you used to say you'd call me, but you never say my name. But now things are different, and now I'm not quite sure if you ever decide to call me. Leave your message after the tone. Well, you didn't say you loved me, and you didn't say goodbye. Just left me alone with all these tears in my eyes. Now I'm leaving you this message. If you ever come back to me, I'm leaving on all it's meant to be. It's called my destiny. Yeah. Could you hear it all right, or was it just blasting out the whole time?
Yeah, that was good.
I mean,
It sounded very like a Sum 41, Blink 182.
I learned how to play guitar because of Blink 182. Like, so all I play are power chords. So it's kind of cheating, not really playing guitar.
I think that's incorrect. I think if you're playing the guitar, you're playing the guitar.
Yeah, it's kind of like any book is a child's book if the kid can read, right? Here's Pani,
Yes.
my dog.
Bonnie? I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, she needs a haircut really bad, but she can't go out for the coronavirus.
Shaver.
Yeah. So Dangle, when are you going to play a song? We lost his audio.
Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. So when my wife is not sleeping, she is a 12-hour shift this evening, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so right now she is napping before her insanely long shift.
Okay.
So
yeah. So how is
some other time? I'm down.
How is she doing? Because she's kind of front line.
It kind of sucks. Definitely worried about it a little bit. The thing is, the children's hospital that she works at is attached to an adult hospital, just like every other hospital. And what they're finding is that the children's hospital is pretty much, it's a very quiet night every night, but that the adult side is super duper busy. And so there's some talk about having to pull her over to the adult side to work with all of the people who are contracted corona, which is pretty terrifying, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
So I try not to think about it too much. She worked this whole weekend, and then she's got 2 nights on tonight and tomorrow night. And so, as soon as she comes home, she goes right to the shower and throws her clothes in the washing machine right away, and washes her hands nonstop, and just, I don't know, it's just kind of scary stuff, man.
How's her hospital doing on supplies?
Definitely been some interesting conversations about that, and how certain politicians have given medical advice when they shouldn't give medical advice has been really interesting. But I think right now they're all kind of just worried about testing themselves, getting themselves tested. At this point, she has been directly what's the right word? She hasn't directly been confronted with someone who has it, but just working in a hospital like that, you're always kind of worried about what might happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been daily taking what is it, chloroquine or whatever. Just
how many? You're taking 2 doses a day?
Yeah, at least handfuls of it.
We should probably give a warning right now. That is pure sarcasm from Adam, and that's not recommended.
I don't know what you're talking about. Literally snorting it.
It's the fastest way in.
Yeah.
That or rectally, right?
Rectally is supposed to be pretty.
Wow. We are we're going there, huh? That's.
Yeah. That's actually what I'm drinking. It's not coffee. It's just chloroquine.
I got another topic for us, Ryan. You and I have discussed starting our own podcast on the topic of cults.
Yes.
I'm a big fan, so now's the time, right, to really take this serious and for us to get our material ready and possibly start recording.
So I don't know if you remember, but a while back I got to talk to Reza Aslan with my students, and it was an amazing experience. And one of the things that he kind of mentioned was that a lot of religious scholars refuse to use the term cult, because when you define it, it is so similar to a religion. It's just it's in the eye of the beholder. So I think it would be fun that if we, maybe we do some of like the more famous cults first, but then after a while, like, okay, let's look at this religious group that is being labeled as a cult, and one of us argues that it is, and the other one argues that it isn't. And I just think that would be a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, so going back and forth.
I'm all on board for this. The pro and the con is kind of like what you and I normally talk about when it comes to sociologies of religions too, is when you start to divide and you say this way is, you debate them, the fear that I get is if it's a hate group, technically by who they are violently acting toward or justifying their way of living, you're saying that we're right and you're wrong, but then you're also giving them a platform to talk. And so that's my concern too, is are we amplifying a situation that maybe doesn't need that spotlight? That's my pro is I love it and I'm all on board, but I want to make sure we do it the right way.
Go ahead, Adam. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm an idea guy here, and I wanted to show you guys the title that I wanted you to use.
Oh,
Can you see that?
Oh yeah, that's a pretty crazy name, Adam. Brian, what do you think about the name?
I'm a teacher that doesn't want to lose his job, so I have no.
No, he spelled out cults. He spelled out.
Yeah,
cults.
no, I know. Yeah, no, I'm very well aware. I'm very well
What
aware.
What if in there, that's like you have the Scientology symbol, and you have like all these different religious symbols that are combined in one, so it does look like what Adam drew out. That's.
Yeah,
I just wrote cults, and I was thinking because they don't want to call it a cult.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I like it.
That is probably, I've been trying to think of a name for like weeks or months with Ryan. That's so far, by far my favorite. Just call it cults.
Don't use that, please.
If we were making a TV show though, or writing a book, that's the direction we would have to go, Ryan.
Well, you're right. You got to be careful because, some of these groups like, very famously, the Church of Scientology doesn't love criticism so much. And, you got to be careful if you get on a platform and you're saying, hey, I think this group is a cult, to try to be fair and balanced. I think that was my whole idea about, showing both perspectives.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of us is going to in any way be able to argue that ISIS is not a dangerous cult group. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's, I was thinking more of, some of those like the Unification Church. It's the Sanctuary Church. So Sun Myung Moon's son, Sean Moon. Yeah. So it's the Moonies, but it's his son that they use the AR-15s during their, you know what I mean? Like, sure, maybe we get like a nasty email, but if one of us is arguing that they're not a cult, you know what I mean? Then I think that makes things more interesting, that say, hey, let's look at why they are and let's look at why they're not.
Did I send you the video of I think they're in their early 20s, college-age students. One is a professional slackliner, and they were in film school, and their final senior project was just this 8-part series or 10-part series that came out on YouTube against the Church of Scientology, where essentially they had spy glasses on, and they joined the church. And they joined Sea Org, and it is a total joke to these kids, and they don't care. And that's what even makes it better, because like when Leah Remini goes after that church, it gets super scary, right? But these kids, they don't care. Like it's worthwhile. I'll share it with you guys later. Trying to watch it. Toward the end, it gets annoying, but so it's called Scientology Sucks. So they start their own church. But what they did with the GoFundMe that they started was they got a huge projector and they projected it all over the Scientology buildings. And so basically that's their church now, is they have the Church of Scientology Sucks. And they don't care about the repercussions because they have nothing against them. They're so young. It's kind of
I definitely want to check it out. I'd be very curious.
Yeah.
I think that would be, like, somehow, some way sharing our resources with the people that are, going to hopefully listen to this thing.
Yeah. I do have that religion up. Well, they're a worldwide, kind of spiritual movement. But when I went to the not the national workshop, what's it called? The Parliament of World Religions in Toronto, I interviewed a guy who's faith teaches that their spiritual leader, his face is on the moon along with Jesus and the Virgin Mary. And he keeps on reaching out to me. And so I'm fairly certain he's a listener actually of this podcast. Hey buddy, if you're listening, I'll figure out a way for us to connect. But he really wants me on his show as well.
Is it like
not that I'm labeling them as a cult, but it falls into a few of the categories.
the moon thing? Is that like a connect the dot thing where you can see the face, or is it like the actual face on the moon?
No, it's sort of like the craters in the moon. They believe, like they put the face kind of on top of it to say, see, that's where it is. And I couldn't see it, but I'm glad they see their.
So like connect the dots.
Yeah.
Just gotta follow the right numbers.
I mean, if we all spend enough time in our homes, we're eventually going to be seeing things too.
I have been thinking about that a lot. I think, at this point, a lot of us have kind of adjusted and have kind of said, okay, this is how we're going to deal with it. But if this continues for as long as some people have said that it could continue, you got to worry about like the mental health of some people. I mean, obviously the economy is, that's going to be in shambles for a while. But I'm talking about mental health more than anything else. And I think we make a lot of jokes about it because, that's how we kind of process through a lot of this. But in all seriousness, there are people that I'm very, very, very much worried about, and this prolonged quarantine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like actually one of the things that I've been doing is at least like reaching out to one or two guys that I'm connected with every day, just via text or whatever. It's amazing too how quick guys are, like when you send a message to somebody, how quick the response is right now. Because everybody I think is feeling it. You're with your family or your partners or whatever at the time, and but you don't have the same kind of surroundings that you normally would, where you could have outlets. Yeah, I think mental health is going to be a big issue coming up, and while the economy concerns me, I think that this is one of those things where it's like a country similar to after the Depression. It has to be a kind of a solve for the masses, and not just a corporate bailout or anything like that. I think that like no one should suffer significantly because of what's happening right now individually, but so I'm hoping we're smart about it as a country. But I do think that I think it'll be scary to look back at this time frame and see what kind of suicide rates will look like between February of 2020 to whenever this ends, because suicide statistics in this country already are terrifying. So
well, and I hope that we're again saying technology should have always been used as a tool to help people to connect. And so I know people who are counseling because they're professional counselors from like this manner, from Zoom, meeting with people one-on-one. But I just hope that that's enough for some people, because I mean, like, it's more than just being able to speak. It's receiving medicine. It's sometimes going through steps to, like, so Adam, you saying actually getting dressed in the morning, like that's a step for many people that they have to do, and if they don't do it, it's just a downward cycle. And so I'm not saying that's what you're going through, but like it is a scary thing if you don't know how to get yourself out of the funk or how to appropriately address it.
No, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why I do it. Like, I don't want to have a day where I'm in, my PJs all day, and then the next day I'm in the same thing. And for me, mentally, that's just like one step away from just allowing it to progress. So, shower every day, shave the old noggin, and find a reason to move forward. So
good for you, dude. I mean, I think you're right. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
Yours is more important.
what I was just saying is I think that's really neat that you're getting into a system, I know, thinking about this long term, right? I mean, we know it's at least 2 more weeks, at least, right? So that it's just thinking about how are we gonna do this, and how do we get ourselves in a good mental place, and trying to be conscious of that. And it's really good for you, dude.
I might have just purchased 4 mugs that say Scientology sucks.
Oh man.
I mean, you gotta support them.
Mine says his. The funny thing is we don't have a hers. We just have a his.
Well, that's okay.
So, got a mustache.
Anything else that we should talk about on our first podcast? This was good. I think we should continue to check in. I mean, like maybe now's the time that we start doing some reunion tours and intentionally calling people that we've interviewed over the years just to see how they're doing.
I know there are at least 2 or 3 other of my friends of different religions that could easily get on a Zoom call. So that's something that
it's something I want to do. However, like how disrespectful is that though? That like I'd rather meet them face to face.
But I also think that people are stir crazy right now, and some of them might welcome the opportunity to talk about something other than Corona.
Well, but we got to talk about Ramadan's coming up at the end of next month, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the date. I would guess
you
sounds right.
You have a Muslim friend who's willing to come on the show. Like maybe that's something we talk about. Is like, so what is we know what Christians do. We're meeting online. What are people of other faiths doing? And what are the Mormons doing, man? That's gotta wonder.
Yeah, I actually just talked to one of the Canes a couple days ago, and they're bunkered down and working from home, and they're, like I said, they're wonderful people. So I think we could definitely reach out to them again and say, hey, what's the Mormon community doing for all of this? Mm-hmm. Might be fun.
All right, this has motivated me. We're going to start a cult podcast, and we're going to. I think we should be committed to meeting right now, and hopefully we'll get Dave back. But we understand that he needed a little. Well, he's working, so.
Do we want to just talk about the fact that Dave and I are obviously in a feud, and that's why we can't appear together?
Wait, what's your feud? Are we making one up? Okay.
Yeah, we could just make one up. Dave and I haven't been together in like, I don't know, 5 episodes?
Well, what I like is we were always talking about how like we just wanted to poke the rhinosaur. And so we were all just looking forward to razzing Dave today. And I totally understand him. I love him.
Yeah, I miss Dave. Yeah, and it's fun to get in on this. So thank you, as always, for including me in the pod.
Always. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. Listeners, thanks for checking us out again. And we'll have another episode very soon. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.